if you play baseball or Riverview, you either gonna come in as a pinch hitter or you come in as a base runner.
Or you gonna carry the water. And that was terrible, man, that we had to go through that in the 80s and at Riverview that brothers didn't play at Riverview. My brother Ted was the hook before Dwight Gooden.
Mm.
But they wouldn't let us play, man. They just would not let us play. Only reason Nordman let us play football because he had gotten out. He tired of getting his butt kicked. I mean, that River was getting their tear because you got brothers like Howard Johnson and all them guys on the bench, man. Big Hearn was 6'9", 500 pounds. You just put him in the hole and he just block up, clog up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but the tide had turned. If you want to win some of these games, you got to let some of these brothers play. And so when they finally got Nordman out and the Castro became the head coach, man, things start to change, man.
Yes,
you got to change. You got to change with the time.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, and again, coming in when we came in, kicking off to the favorite thing ever. The thing with freshman year, I think, was when it came for that football pep rally. Oh man, we were sitting there the freshman year, we was like this, and they said, "All right, the starting varsity," and all of a sudden you got Von Swan. Like, wait a minute, hold on, what these cats wide receiver? What they get to do? They called me Hank Lacey, fullback. Wait a minute, and then all of a sudden, Ben, cool kid, cool, sharp, Broadnax. We like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, he said kid? No, that ain't. And then we go on and then get home and hit a roll call. Who it is? It's me, Kid Cooch. Huh? Wait. That's Ben. Wait. I didn't know until that time in the pep rally that was you on the radio. I'm hanging out. I did not know that was you. I'm like, and then Colonel Lee, I'm like, oh, that's just such a. Wait a minute, you Colonel Lee? I mean, that's another piece of that whole, like I said, besides football, but it came down to hip hop and review at that point in time. I did not realize I'm hanging out with you, Colonel Lee. I'm going over to Godfather being part of GFC. Just that's all in the neighborhood, and it was just something to do until we start talking about historically, bruh. You Colonel Lee, and like you said, the whole Riverview crew, that is history that we're trying to tell people now about. How did you get into that part of hip hop? How did you get into it?
Man, I kind of the very first time that I heard Rappers Delight, I said, oh yeah. My mind has always been a creative mind as it pertains to entertainment. And then, I roll with the best, man. Al Cool Gator, who's a legend, a Hall of Famer in this town, and then Dr. Jockenstein. Jockenstein was a young jock that was doing great things. And then when George Clinton came along and gave him the name from Touche to Jockenstein, man, the rest is history. Jock was one of the greatest jocks in the world until people that came in here from out of town started hating on Jock because of how popular he was. How do you have a man like Dr. Jockenstein, who's a legend in this town, on the radio one day a week because you hating?
Yeah.
I just it was just bad how they treated Jock at the end of before his health stuff failing him. Hell, he had health problems because he had no medical insurance. He couldn't frequently go to the doctor and get things checked out. And man, Jock, I asked Jock at his bedside, man. I was Jock's godson, so Jock said on his deathbed he didn't want nobody doing the roll call but me. He said that at the hospital. People, what's the roll call? The nurse was like, what's roll call? I said, it's a radio show, blah, blah, blah. He said, son, I don't want them people effing up my show, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I got you, man. I can do what I can, but it's a popular show and everybody wants to be you. Right. He said, well, I want you to be me, son. He said, just keep up the good work, man. Stay in school. Keep your butt in school, blah, blah. He always emphasized that. He wasn't just about rapping. He was about community stuff, man, and people don't bring that up. He was a diehard Cardinal fan.
Of the roll call.
Dr. Jockenstein, it's time for roll call. Roll call.
You dial 969-100. The telephone number to my stereo. 462-8500. Call me now for the roll call show.
Big Mix. Eeny, mighty mo. Dr. Jockenstein on the radio. Fast forward to the new generation. We're about ready just to rock the station. Old school 95.5. It's all the way and it's all the way live. Can't forget my man, call him DJ Cook, cause he's rocking the house. And you know what's up. Well, I'm Kenny Broadnax, Colonel Kiku Sharp, and I'm rocking the house like we did in the park. We got a special surprise and he's coming on now. And this is how we're rocking on the roll call. Shout out Eeny, meeny, singing mighty mo. We're gonna go back to that roll call show. Sarah, what's your name? My name is Colonel Lee, and yes indeed I'm on the radio. What's your sign? I'm a Libra, baby, just in case y'all wanted to know. Can you give me that #1 scoop? I rep that Riverview Gardens, Alton High. Say the teacher with the golden man, it was the Jockenstein, huh? I said, here we go, we on the radio. I can you talk about the #1 stereo. The theological theory of the deaf opposition allows me to elevate over all my competition. Put destruction on the big bop if they cross my path. Known for getting paid and signing autographs. I'm cold and I know it, a poet I show it. My chance to be on top and ain't no way I'm gonna blow it. Unbreakable rhymes, you cannot touch. Too much to understand, your freaking brain might bust. No immortal can fight it, will be electrocuted. My performance stays funky, man, it means I'm well suited. Rhymes are modified, there's all denying. Can't a sucker beat me rapping, but they still keep trying. Who's the incinerated, turn it to the max. I wrote a whoopers out of 2014 Cadillac. These rhymes, they keep you straight like a Thanksgiving plate. If you don't like it, then you will disintegrate. I take out the other disses, I'm your rap side. Focus kicking out smoke because the sucker's on fire. No, I'm getting deafer the way I dress is life. I keep my band on the 20 big rap, the equalizer. My name is Colonel Lee, I'm right on time. And I've always been known for the coldest rhyme. Take 2 steps back, open your ears and listen. And if you don't interrupt, there'll be no dissing. I've been patiently waiting for far too long. Listen to bubblehead rappers and bubblehead songs.
But they cut the record down to the bone. And now they got the rapping on the microphone. And then we talking autographs. Here's the wax, champagne, Gambling Young, and bubble back. A sticky situation of a situation sticky. A sticky situation you see. Well, I am the original godfather for the group that GFC. You see it was last night, the night before. 54 women came knocking at my door. See, I got up and then I let them in. I threw them on the couch. That's when the fun began. We rolled to the right, back to the left. Oh boy, we worked that sucker to death.
And you know, as it pertains to me and Colonel Lee, you know, a lot of people didn't want Colonel Lee around us, man, for whatever reason. But I said it to him many times before he died, and I said till I die, that Colonel Lee was one of the baddest rapping cats, not in St. Louis, in this country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In this country, man,
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I would put Colonel Lee up against damn near any rapper out there. You know, him and you know, I was thinking Monopoly way back then, man. We had the JT group and everybody had their little specialty or whatever. But when JT started to kind of lose his edge or whatever, I said, man, let's form a dynamic trio. MOD had a trio or a choir group that them boys was extremely creative, man, extremely creative. And I said to Colonel Lee, you one of the baddest cats in the game. Kid Jew was, man, Kid Jew was more like our Tupac, and Colonel was more like our Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kid Jew could always tell them stories, man, and you like, what's this dude talking about? But all of his raps was knowledgeable raps, man. They inform you about something. And then I was the guy that you didn't want to battle. I was a killer in the battle. I had cats want to fight after a battle, man. Oh man, no battle. They would never give us an opportunity to battle for the title, man, for the belt. I said, y'all got some belts y'all didn't earn, man. Y'all don't want to go against the best. Y'all don't want to battle the best. I said, I talked. Colonel Lee came to me and said, man, I want to get in the group. I said, man, one thing you got to do, you got to promise me. He said, what's that? I said, you got to go to school. That's main thing. You got to go to school, and you got to come by here and practice at least an hour a day. Bet I can do that. And he came by every day with his notebook. And man, what I saw him become, man, it was like I was trying to be Russell Simmons back then. I'm like, man, I'm done rapping. I'm gonna manage him. That's the plan I had even way back then as a freshman and sophomore. I had management plans about taking this thing to another level. We just wasn't afforded many opportunities, and we had the opportunity to record a CD. But guys was too busy playing around and not making deadlines and not making rehearsals and chasing skirts because we were so popular. We were signing autographs at ninth and 10th grade.
Yeah.
You know, a group called Sound Distortion had us at Redmond, North County Recreation. We had about 2,500 people there, man. In North County.
Yeah.
And they was like, that's JT. That's the guys we hear on the radio. They was like, can we take your picture? Can we have your autograph? I like, autograph? I'm just a ninth grader. hey, but I ate it up though. Man, I could go in the circle and pull any girl out the circle I wanted. But I wasn't that guy though, man. I wasn't no guy trying to get a lot of notches in my belt because I was popular. My great grandmother told me years ago, they said that if you got something good, you give it to everybody. It ain't worth nothing.
That's
and
a good
so
one.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So I always tried to go after quality, not quantity. And I'm still that way today, man. I have women mad at me because I wouldn't go certain routes with them. No, I'm just not into that, baby. I'm cool. Man. I want what I want. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Now going back to the hip hop piece on when we did the piece we did called Background Check, it's even in the what Lee says. He says I used to go and try to steal all the stuff I could from Bean.
I mean, the difference between me and Colonel is that Colonel wrote all this stuff down. I could look at something and create a rhyme. Most of my rhymes are in my head. And so he was like, what'd you say on that? Nah, you got to create your own, my brother. But it made him a more competitive person and more creative person because I would go find stuff. And then my guy brother that really got me in the game, Eugene Deal. If you look at him on YouTube, Gene was from Wellston too. And I call him my big brother, man. And Gene taught me how to put rhymes and nursery rhymes together. And way back then, man, he was killing the game. I was like, wow, this big old dude can rap, man. He was like, no, you got to do it like this. You got to put it together. You got to make it make sense, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow. And so Gene gave me a platform. And so all I did was pass the platform to Colonel Lee, man. And Colonel Lee, the stuff that boy was coming up with, man, I was like, wow.
Like I said, on that roll call, say the way he ended with that Beverly Hillbillies, that was it, man. Everybody and mama tried to do that, but you couldn't do it. That was Lee's piece when you hear that. And now it's time to say goodbye to the MC.
Colonel Lee. Oh man, hey man, it's kind of like when I came up with the picky people, pick JT's party people, with the party people, picky people, pick. And man, when I rolled that out, man, next thing I know, everybody and their mama was saying that, just changing the name. I said, wow, this is a town of copycats, huh? Oh man, it was terrible, man. That we spent our time being creative just for people to steal what we had.
But like you said, and again, that goes with showing the like you said, being as far advanced as we were in that point in time. It was just stuff we did that, like I said, we did it because that's what we did. I mean, you got yours, like I said, the Picky People. You got Colonel Lee with Now It's Time to Say Goodbye. Then you go to Godfather with the
right, man. Hey, man, historical stuff, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just crazy that, like I said, St. Louis was known. Then we were coming on, and it dropped off. And the next thing, oh, first people come out of St. Louis with Nelly. No, he did good for St. Louis, but he wasn't the first.
Man, let me tell you something. And people forgot about Silk Smooth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Trick with a Good Rap was one of the biggest records in the country, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
and
that clientele.
and even before Silk Smooth, it was Early D.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about Early D being part of the mix too. I'm like, dang, he's from St. Louis too. But it's like you said, and that was nothing too. It's so many people who were from St. Louis that for some reason that's the part that you don't catch on until the last piece of when they really get big. Oh yeah, he's from St. Louis.
Yeah, you know, we had a lot of guys from St. Louis. Domino was born in St. Louis, even though he went to the West Coast to get this break. But I mean, we've had a lot of people before. In fact, when I was on tour with Nelly's first major tour, T Love called me and asked me to go out with them to teach them the game because I had been out there, man. And I said, yeah, I'll do that until they stop listening to me. When they stop listening to me, I'll be returning home because you don't need me if these guys know everything. Right. And Nelly was talking about, you know, his how he was, you know, doing his thing, blah blah. I said, man, I've been there, done that. He said, yeah, right. I said, you want to battle? He said, what you want to do? And you know, I always had that Jekyll and Hyde instrumental with me. Hey, and we on the tour bus. I said, man, put that in. And then as soon as I said my name, he said, stop. You Kid Cool Sharp? He said, okay, man, okay, all respect, bro, all respect. You know what I'm saying? Because we did the thing. We were doing the thing in the 80s. They didn't hear nothing about Nelly and them until the 93, 2000s and all that when he really got his break. But man, that was 20 years after us, bro.
Yeah. And like I said, it was the fact, like I said, you have been a part of, like I said, that whole movement in hip hop of Missouri, and then turn around. Now, B, after you graduated, I hadn't seen you. When I last saw you, you was, like I said, you was 165, 75 quarterback. When I see you in, it had to be 94, 95 when I came back, when I graduated college and came back home. It was some concert or something. And it was like, I'm going through the line and I look at you, you look at me, you say, see? I say, Big B, what's going on? I'm looking like, wait a minute, hold on. Now you the size of a lineman.
Right.
I'm like, B, oh man, and you the bodyguard. Like, look, now you the bodyguard. You and Big Hud, y'all the bodyguard. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Hey, wait a minute. When I last saw y'all was little bitty fellas. Now y'all bodyguards.
Hey, believe it or not, I was living a wild dream, man. I had somebody that was in position. I was training, man. At that point, I was tip top rock shape, man. I was training because somebody was gonna give me a invite to the Rams camp.
Oh man.
To be like a special teams player and this, that, and the other. So I was swimming every day. I was running. I was lifting, like I never did when I was in school. Like I was in high school. In college, I did because we had a coach down there that didn't play. But I was like, man, Then reality started setting in. I said, man, these cats been doing this all their life, man. I just started getting into the training program, and man, I was doing my thing, man. But then reality said, nah, bro, go keep doing what you're doing before you go out there and get yourself killed. Hey, see, when I went out there and saw them guys 6'4", 350 pounds run faster than me, I said, okay, this ain't the joint for me, Doc.
The joint for you.
Let me get on back to my comfort zone, because I mean, it was, man, you have to be real with yourself, man. I think I've made a pretty good contribution to society, man. Not just the hip hop game or the security game or the police game. I think I've purposed in my heart, man, to try to be a game changer, not for me, but the type of guy you say, oh man, that dude, he helped us out when we was this, that, and that. I want to be that guy. I don't care about the notoriety for myself, because I had fun when I was Colonel Kid Cool Sharp, and when I was, you know, quarterback for Riverview of Dr. Jockenstein's sidekick and all that. I had fun with those days, man. I never forget when Prince came in the radio station, and you know, when I get to write my book, you'll hear all those stories. I was like, who is this little weird dude coming in here? And hey, Jack and Stein said, hey man, don't let nobody in his office. It was Jock, Prince, and Billy Sparks in his office.
Billy Sparks, yeah.
Hey, I'm still in high school, man. You know, I'm nosy as hell. So of course I walk in and I see what I see. I like, oh, I said, oh yeah, this is the game I'm gonna be in. I'm gonna be in this game right here because if it's going down like this here, I'm gonna be a DJ. But I mean, even at those times, man, when we talk about places, historical places that like the Ville Auditorium.
Yeah.
We would do 2,500, 3,000 people every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, and they would give us like $300 a piece. But for a ninth grader, that's a lot of money, man. I make $900 a weekend for DJing, doing something I love to do. But on the other hand, they were walking out the door with $15,000, $20,000.
Yeah. So now, how did you get into the bodyguard piece?
Well, back in the days, I was the first DJ outside of New York to play Run DMC. It's like that. I broke that record. And Russell Simmons, when he came to town, he was like, "Hey man, thanks for playing my record." And Jock said, "I didn't play it. That big head nigga over there played it." Because I didn't know you had to get permission and you had to have a conversation and all that kind of stuff before you. I played it and the people went crazy. They said, "Man, what was that record?" It was the same effect that they had when Rappers Delight first came out.
Yeah.
I broke that record and Jock, the hotline went off. They're like, "Hey, who told you to play that record?" I said, "You told me to listen to the record." I said, "Yeah, listen and tell me, not play them." Oh man, Jock was hot as fish grease, man. So Russell Simmons, he said, "Man," he said, "You broke that record?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, if you ever need something, here's my card. Call me." I was like, "Yeah, he's blowing smoke. He ain't gonna do nothing." And so I had touched elbows with a whole lot of artists that I called myself doing security. You know, it's the box too. And
Right.
so, but they like this little bitty dude ain't gonna do this, that, and the other. Until we had an incident, I kind of handled my business with them hands, Doc. And so they said, okay, well maybe we can use him. So every now and then I would catch little tours here and there, but just coming through St. Louis. And then when Russell Simmons broke out with that Def Comedy Jam, man, I say, man, I'm the guy that broke that record in St. Louis. You said if I ever wanted something, I said, man, I want to tour. I want to travel with you guys, blah, blah, blah. He said, okay, when can you start? I said, when y'all start? He said, okay, I'm gonna fly you out to New York for rehearsal. We're gonna rehearse 3 weeks and then we hitting the road. And man, I was making like $2,700 a week with Def Jam.
Yes, sir.
And
Okay.
so when we were taping Def Jam, and part of the reason I got in too is that I was Joe Torre's road manager.
Okay.
And so that went together. Since I'm out there with Joe, I'm head of security and I'm with Joe. You know what I'm saying? So it was a beautiful thing, man. And Russell was a man of his word. He did what he said he would do. So I respect that, man. I respect people that keep their word. But
Yeah.
it's been a solid ride for me in the entertainment game, man. I went through Chuck White and Cedric Evans out of Philly, now Atlanta. I was able to work with Luther Vandross. I became good friends with Gerald Levert, worked a lot of Gerald Levert's tours. In fact, I was one of the last phone numbers in his phone when they found him because I had a young man from Northwoods who was extremely talented. Uh, People like, oh man, you got to hook up with this guy. This boy won Unsigned Artist of the Year when uh, it was a program on BET that they had where they had unsigned artists on. This boy from Northwoods won Unsigned Artist of the Year. And I was like, why this boy ain't got no deal as talented as he is? And then I found out later on because I sent Gerald Levert 3 of his songs for Gerald to record. And Gerald called me back and said, man, I want 2 of these songs, but I got to get the paperwork because my album is done. That's the last album he did in my songs.
Oh
And
man.
this boy tell me, I don't want to sell them songs. I write for him. I said, nigga, Gerald Levert don't need you to write for him. We talking about Gerald Levert. He doing us a favor by letting you maintain your publishing and the whole 9 yards, which is a key piece in the
Yes,
industry.
sir. Yes, sir.
And
That's it.
he was like, man, I don't. I said, what you gonna do with the song? He said, I'm just gonna keep selling them out my trunk. So at that point, I had washed my hands with working with artists from St. Louis because they knew the entertainment, they didn't know the business, and I was catching strokes and heart attacks trying to help these idiots that didn't know no better.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, but like you said, it's the mentality sometimes. Hey, I see you got to get up out, but we got to do part two of this because man, look, you got like I said, you have so many layers, and we just getting to the bodyguard part, and there's some more after that. But I'm gonna let you do what you need to do. I want to say again, thank you, brother. I love you to death, and thank you for all that you ever done for me. Whenever I came around and needed something, you were like, I got you, and you rolled me on through. So I just want to say thank you.
Hey man, you my hero as well, bro, because you done things that I always wanted to do. That video stuff. If I had the knowledge you had, I got a video I've been sitting on for 20 years. And if I ever sit down with somebody and put it together, I promise you we're gonna do 4 or 5 million views on it. I promise you.
We're gonna get together and have to get that out there because whenever you say something, nine times out of 10, it's going through unless somebody say something stupid to mess you up.
Hey man, I'm telling you, see, we use your artistic ability and put this thing together, man. And I just had to. I've been sitting on it. I presented it to the record company years ago, but they wanted me to sign a whole deal, and I said, I'm not signing no record deal. I'll sign a one project with you, but they were insisting on me trying to do a deal. I said, okay, well, we can terminate this conversation because I'm not going to do that. I see what these artists go through. You think I want to
Yes,
go
sir.
through that?
Yes, sir. Well, all right, B, I'm let you get to going. And again, I'm gonna bring you back so we can finish up this because that's history you done said from football to music to bodyguarding. And I know you got some stuff to say, and we're gonna get it out there. Hey,
Hey
see,
man,
the background was for you.
you can call me anytime, brother. And
Bet that. Well, we gonna get on that and do that again. But I want to thank you. Look, big brother Ben for being in the neighborhood, man. Love you.
hey man, I love you just as much, man. And keep doing what you're doing, man. And like I said, man, we can do part two of this, man, because we ain't really got into the meat.
Right.
Hey, we just got the gravy. We ain't got the taters yet.
All right, due time, baby.
New time for life, baby.
All right, B. Thank you, baby. Peace.
No problem. All right. Yep.
My partner Dwayne Randall on Fat Clips. I'm his cameraman.
Uh-huh.
And we would come in and say, oh, we got to clean this up. Monica Butler's coming in to do her gospel show. Yada, 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 yada. I like, okay. And we missed. Monica was here a few minutes ago. Oh, where'd she go? We missed. We first met was Pastor Clark at Berkeley. He says, he came to me and said, I need you to come to this meeting.